And no respite for India as it braces for its second powerful storm in less than 2 weeks. Cyclone Yaas is gathering strength along the east coast, and nearly 2 million people are being moved to shelters before it hits. The storm is set to make landfall tomorrow north of Odisha. It's forecast to batter West Bengal state and Bangladesh. Cyclone Yaas has already intensified into a severe cyclonic storm. Strong winds, heavy rains and flooding are expected. More than 100 disaster relief teams have been mobilised. The Navy and Coast Guard are also on standby. Ports, refineries and power plants have been told to suspend operations. Women who are pregnant and children have been sent to government hospitals for their safety. Fears are growing that the storm will hit the nation's COVID-19 vaccination drive. Some private centres have already suspended rollout. Neha Punya joins us live now for more. Neha, are authorities fully prepared to face another cyclone in such a short period after the last one hit?
That's right, Don. Just 10 days ago, you had Cyclone Yaas, which was battering India's west coast. You had more than 150 people who died in that cyclonic event. You had many vaccination centers that were forced to suspend their drive temporarily. Many COVID-19 hospitals had operations impacted because they lay in the path of the cyclone. And this time around, it's India's east coast that's in the line of fire. We've seen how mass evacuations have already begun. You have rescue teams that have been deployed to this region as well, and officials say that more teams are being sent this time, keeping in mind how the COVID-19 challenge is also one to contend with. You have the Navy and the Air Force on standby as well. Now, the East Coast is no stranger to cyclones. Last year, Cyclone Amphan hit the East Coast as well, and more than 100 people died in that. So the government of West Bengal and Odisha saying that these are routine drills that have now been put into works. But of course, it is a big challenge because preparation for this cyclone and dealing with this aftermath is obviously going to distract officials from the other big challenge they're facing, which is COVID-19 and rising cases in these two regions.
India is no stranger to cyclones, Neha, but how badly is it expected to impact the COVID-19 situation as it is, the challenges that there are, especially as infection rates appear to be falling right now?
We have seen infection rates dip nationally, but there is a concern that the virus is now reaching rural India, where we don't really have a sense of how big the outbreak might already be. We have seen how evacuating people, Dawn, has already proved to be a challenge, especially in regions like Odisha and West Bengal, where cases are still surging. Officials saying that it's proving very difficult to convince locals, especially villagers, to move out of the path of the cyclone and move to these relief centers that have been set up. Many people expressing apprehensions that if they move to these relief centers, they could potentially contract COVID-19 there. Of course, the government saying they're doing everything they can to enforce safe distancing norms at these centers. Occupancy at most of these centers has been cut by half, but there are concerns that with so many people staying in such close proximity for God knows how long, these centers could become super spreaders. And the government says it's doing everything it can to prevent that. It's handing out masks to people who are being evacuated, and it's issued special directives to officials engaged in all of these evacuation drives as well. But of course, the concern is also going to be the aftermath of the cyclone. Where will these people go once the cyclone has made landfall? How long these relief operations will need to continue, and how long these people will need shelter? All of these, of course, factors that complicate an already complicated fight.
Neha, thank you. Neha Punya there in New Delhi.